Hello and welcome to the UUOP News Network, a weekly news bulletin featuring all the latest from Universal Studios. This news bulletin is produced in cooperation with the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast as part of the UUOP network. I'm your host Jeremy, and this week we don't have a lot of regular park news, but we do have a lot more Halloween Horror Night news. So let's dive right in. Earlier this week, Universal announced that it would be having team member previews for the recently refurbished Revenge of the Mummy attraction. Any Universal employee with their UOID had a special chance to encounter the curse for themselves this week. Unfortunately, there is still no official opening date for the attraction, but we're even closer now to reopening. It seems that Universal in a way outshined their own Halloween Horror Nights Twitter by releasing the announcement dates for Universal holidays beginning November 12th and running through January 1st. In a funny sense of irony, this major announcement comes at a time when Universal has yet to announce the rest of the Halloween Horror Nights lineup, leading to a pretty ironic and hilarious comment on a Twitter post from Horror Nights Orlando. "How dare you announce something before me? That's it. No more Mr. Nice Demon. Perhaps we'll get the rest of our HHN announcements now." Double work walls have gone up around the former Sinbad Stunt Show Theater. What these work walls are for remains anyone's guess. But could we finally be seeing some work get done on the theater to make way for something new? Who knows? Finally, we have a lot of Halloween Horror Nights construction news, and it is continuing this week. Over the past few weeks, we have seen a lot of progress being made around the park for the various scare zones that will be featured at Halloween Horror Nights 31. This week, we saw some more additions in terms of details made to the Hollywood Scare Zone, which is looking like a dilapidated cemetery. Lots of small details like greenery, statues, little things like that have gone up all around on all of the set pieces, and we've also seen a couple of technical details added as well, such as fog machines. This scare zone is looking stunning at this point, and we cannot wait to see what this will look like at night with all the added details and what the scare zone will officially be called. Over in the New York area of the park, we saw a van get added to the scare zone with the Major Sweet Candy Co. logo on the side, which is a fictional candy company that has been made for this scare zone and its story. What the story is for this scare zone still at this time remains anyone's guess, but it is rumored to be something of the sorts of candy mutants. Not sure how this will play out, but we're very curious. Moving around to the San Francisco area of the park, we've seen a large stage appear in the area where this is rumored to be a witch scare zone, and it looks absolutely stunning. It is covered with ancient ruins all over and even has a giant witch's cauldron. We're not sure if this will just be a regular scare zone or if there will be some sort of mini show performance kind of similar to what we saw with the Terra Queen. Finally, in the entrance scare zone of the park, we have seen a large lighting truss similar to what we saw at the entrance to HHN 31 go up. On this truss, we have seen a large variety of pumpkins littered all across the lighting truss, and it looks absolutely amazing. It looks like Wicked Growth, in a way, has sort of returned to Halloween Horror Nights, but we're not sure what this final structure will look like come Halloween Horror Nights 31. We do wonder if we will see the return of the iconic neon sign that bears the words Halloween Horror Nights, or if they will be going in a different direction with this truss. Just to follow up, over in the Central Park area of the park, there is no new construction updates at this time in terms of scare zone construction. All we have are still lighting trusses at this time. In more HHN construction, we have seen a large variety of food booths go up all over the park, themed to various Halloween themes, mostly those that are rumored houses to appear at this event. We've seen a booth of sorts and theming appear in the most unlikely of places this year, in Sting Alley. This is a very unusual location, as usually this is just sort of a cut through for people to walk through during horror nights and during the regular park hours. So it is very interesting to see some actual theming and horror night stuff appear in this area. Very curious to see what this will be. In some more construction news, we are now seeing even more work going on at one of the two sprung tent houses rumored to be bugs eaten alive and descendants of destruction. The house rumored to be descendants of destruction has gotten a full subway facade, and it looks like an authentic New York subway station. We're very curious how this will tie into the full story. It looks like our friends at Horror Night Nightmares may have been partially right on one of the early iterations of the spec map, which rumored the house to be underground creatures. We've also seen some new shirts arrive for HHN 31 that seem to be themed to Day of the Dead. Most likely this is in correspondence with the rumored El Chupacabra house that is rumored to be at the event this year. If you want to hear more and learn more about this year's HHN 31 event at Universal Studios Florida, then be sure to go check out our other podcast, the Rush of Fear podcast, hosted by one of our fabulous hosts, Michelle. And that podcast is found anywhere that you can find your podcast. So be sure to go check them out, give them a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Jumping over to HHN in Hollywood for a brief moment, we recently saw the work walls come down around the Horrors of Blumhouse maze that will be located in the Waterworld Stunt Show queue. We also saw the work walls come down around the rumored La Llorona maze located in the Parisian courtyard. And finally, we've seen the flame towers rise up at the entrance of Universal Studios Hollywood that serves as the entrance to their HHN event. So it seems that Halloween Horror Nights is definitely starting to take shape and come in at full force on both coasts. And this is very good and very exciting considering the event is almost 2 weeks away. We are getting really close. But that is going to do it for this week's news update from the UUOP News Network. Be sure to give us a like and comment and subscribe, and be sure to check out our main podcast, the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, which can be found anywhere you get your podcasts. Looking to book your next Universal trip? Go check out our friends at Portkey Vacation, run by one of the fabulous hosts of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, Michelle. Whether it be to Universal Studios or anywhere else in the world, check with her and she will set you up for success on your next vacation. If you want to get involved with UUOP, you can submit a Bow Pick a Bow Bow, our newest listener debate. Stay tuned to the end for instructions on how to get involved with that. Also, be sure to go check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. Simply search UUO Podcast. You can also learn about and join the Producers Club by emailing uuopproducers@gmail.com. Be sure to go check out our friends over at the Theme Park Duo Podcast for all Universal Studios Hollywood and West Coast theme park related content. Finally, and once again as always, I want to thank Lee, Tracy, and the gang for allowing me to be a part of the UUOP family and bringing you all this weekly news update. So thank you all again, and be sure to tune in next week on the UUOP News Network.